to Beyond the Ring, a podcast that covers all things in the stock show industry from the informative to the insane, starring Ryan Rash.
There is no co in front of my star this week. Also, not really ever, but.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Beyond the Ring, and I am the star this week all by myself, Ryan Rash. Dale is off in some foreign country doing God knows what. I hope that he's personally in some immigrant detention camp and they don't ever let him out, but I'm sure he's not. But he's not here, and just remember, he doesn't love you people as much as I do. I made the time, I made the effort, Clifton made the time, Clifton made the effort, Dale, not so much. But we're going to do this without him. I've done this solo before. I can do it again. And for those of you that love Dale the most, just tune out now and come back another week. Because I don't even know if he'll be here the next week. He's a very busy foreign country hopper person. I personally think that he is trying to find a new residence other than the United States of America. You know, those liberal tendencies of him keep popping out every once in a while. But here we are. So I'm going to handle this on my own. The crazy world that we're in right now, our president has Rona. I know, it's just awful. And I'm sure the rest of you, hope that our president has a quick and speedy recovery from the COVID of it all, the Rona, whatever you want to call it. I also personally, in the words of Ron DeSantis, hope that the United States of America has a quick and speedy recovery from the Joe Biden presidency when we get him out of here. But I don't want Rona to take him down. I'm being honest. I just want him voted out or impeached or, invoke the 25th Amendment, something. But I don't want the man to die. But he does have the Rona. And I think one of the things that I find the most interesting is because when Trump got the Rona, there was all this coverage of him in the hospital and he's this and this is happening and they're doing all this and all these things that were negative about Trump having Rona. There's been nothing of that on Joe Biden. He has Rona. He has symptoms. He's recovering. That's it. Nothing. No trash talk. No, this is why he got it. None of that, which, by the way, he's been vaccinated and boosted twice, but he still got it. He still has it. So I don't know what to say. I think it is so telling on how different they cover the same types of things under two different presidents. Both of them have Rona. They all wanted Trump to die. They covered it extensively. It was on the news every single second of every single minute. You could not get enough of it. Biden has it. Oh, Biden's got Rona. Tune back in next week when he doesn't. Also, the Hunter Biden laptop things continue to get ugly and nasty and crazy. And the videos coming out are just go Google it because it's nuts. I still do not see how we have not come to a conclusion in this investigation that homeboy has done some real illegal shit and probably needs at least, a slap on the hand, if not more. But I'm not thinking that's going to happen, but it's getting way deeper than whatever. They had some more congressional hearings on January 6th, and they put up a whole bunch of new stuff. Nothing new, actually, just more of the same. I don't think this is going anywhere. And I know that the goal of these hearings are to make Trump unelectable in 2024 in case he decides to run. I don't think that's working because the only people that care are the people sitting on that committee and some crackpot, very liberal Democrats, and the rest of us, we care about inflation and gas and, all those, the border and all these things that are not working currently in our world. And so I hope they're having a nice time with their made-for-TV congressional hearings, but I think that it's not going to get much traction. And I really think that they lost an opportunity because there's nobody questioning any of this evidence or any of these witnesses, anything like that. They just keep, Trump's terrible, Trump's awful, Trump's crazy, Trump's insane, whatever. Well, there's no other side to it. So they just look dumb. And when you don't have anybody defending the other side, how can you even call this a hearing of any point? But it's still going, and they're going to have more in the fall. They plan to keep this up all the way till midterms. speaking of things in the 2024 election, so Florida, which we all know that Trump moved his official residence from New York City to Mar-a-Lago there in Florida. So now he is officially a Florida resident. So is Ron DeSantis. And those are two of the very big names that are quite possibly people that will run for the Republican nomination for president in 2024. So in the last couple of weeks, they've had two Republican conventions in the state of Florida. One was aimed more for like the younger generations and crowd, and then there was just another one. And while DeSantis and Trump were overwhelmingly the two favorites at both of those, Trump still wins by a large margin. I thought it was interesting. The younger group was even more hardcore for Trump to be the nominee. And they interviewed him, and they were on a bunch of them on TV, and they're like, he's the one that started this movement. He is the one that changed everything. He changed the Republican Party's values, the platform. He needs to be the one that goes back in there. Nothing against DeSantis. Nobody had anything bad to say about Ron. But they think because Trump was the one that made all these changes and pushed this party to where we are, that he gets another chance. So I thought it was interesting because I thought some of the younger ones may lean a little more to DeSantis, but they did not. And so I thought that was very, very interesting and telling. And again, who knows when Trump is going to announce what he's going to do about the presidency. Normally they don't announce till after the midterms. I'm going to say that it would be very, very hard for him to keep it under his hat or whatever you want to call it that long, whether he is or whether he's not. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the answer to that is yet. I know what I want the answer to be, but I don't know what his answer is. So this week, there's a lot of numbers that are going to come out in terms of consumer confidence reports, GDP, all of these things that are going to tell us the traditional signs if we are in a recession. Biden's White House is already on top of this, and they have decided to rewrite what a recession has normally meant since they, kept up with this data and stuff like that. And they are now saying that if you have two consecutive quarters in the negative in these numbers that are coming out this week, that's not necessarily a recession anymore. Also, they tried this spin thing a lot, and they told us that all his foreign tactics in Afghanistan and all that were a success. Not so much. They told us that Putin was responsible for the gas prices. Not so much. The border is secure and closed. Not so much. But yeah, so now they are redefining what a recession is. And because I think those numbers come out Thursday, which will be after this is aired, but I had to record early. And so when those do, and if it does, the standard that we've always been used to about being a recession comes out that way, don't worry about it. Joe says we're not. It's fine. Completely fine. Gas prices have gone down. I think now consecutively gone down for 40 days, I think is what they said. It's still roughly between $1.30 and $1.50 more than it was last year. I don't even know what the number is compared to when Trump was in office. Considerably higher than that. But Biden told us that he did not control gas prices forever. That no president can control the gas prices. It's not his fault. It was Putin. It was this. It was the gas stations themselves was the last one that they were jacking up the price too much, and he told them to stop. Now that gas prices, we've got a little relief, not much, a little relief. Now he's taking credit for that. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't control gas prices. I can't do anything about it. It's not my fault. They start to fall. I did that. I'm the reason. Give me credit. Again, I just don't think people are going to buy that necessarily. But I could be wrong. Today, he also announced an additional 20 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve were going to be sold. And I don't know how that's going to help, hurt. I'm not a wizard in that, but that is the latest there. in terms of the fact that he has released to be sold another 20 million barrels of oil from the reserve, which, on a side note, Trump filled all the reserve up. We're energy independent, all this good stuff. And by the time Homeboy gets done, there'll be nothing left. But, it's where we are. In some interesting news and facts, for those of you that are beach lovers, I am like obsessed with sharks. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. But anyway, shark attacks are like really high this year. I think close to 30 so far. And also alligator attacks are on the rise. So I'm just going to say, if you're going to get in some water in Florida, you might want to look for an alligator, beach, shark. But it has been very interesting because, like, alligators have killed 3 people here lately. I don't know. They're angry. But just be careful if you go into the beach this summer, because lots of alligators, lots of sharks attacks out there. And we all want you to be safe and sound and be able to keep showing your livestock. This will be the shortest current events ever because we don't have Dale here going on and on about China and, aliens and God knows what all else. But that's kind of the highlights that I have for the current events of it all. I'm sure that when Dale listens to this, which is joking, let's be real, he's not going to listen, but he will ask me and I will have failed miserably at this task. But again, he decided that he was too busy to be here. So if current events are what he likes, not my issue. On to some BTR JLA news. First and foremost, we have hired another points person. We're very excited to have another young lady helping us out in terms of the inputting points. So now we are up to basically 2.5 people. Sometimes when I help 3, but we know we're a little behind, but just a massive number of shows that have sanctioned because it was free this year and getting all that data in. But she started on Monday of this week, and so we're going to get caught up and get those points up to you. But we are still updating every week. We are putting them all in. The numbers are growing. We appreciate all of the shows sanctioning, and we appreciate all you kids going to shows that are sanctioned and trying to get points for the end of the year. And this week, I'm going to read off the top 10 novice hog. First place, Camden Lee of Amanda, Ohio. Second place, Deegan Sheldon of Remington, Indiana. Third place is Eli Atkinson of Stockton, Kansas. Fourth place is Bristol Clark, Bay Springs, Mississippi. Fifth place is Hadley Reeves of Hyco, Texas. Sixth place is Ada Van Meter of Monon, Indiana. Next, we have Kinley McWalter of Canyonville, Oregon, followed by Tally West of Taft, Texas. We have Alex Mendoza in 9th of Modesta, California, and rounding out the current top 10 in the novice hog division, we have Olivia Tucker from Brazil, Indiana. So, congratulations, y'all. Keep getting points. As I said last week, we had a brand new national corporate sponsor, and Brock Farms Angus Cattle. We appreciate them for being a corporate sponsor. I'm not going to go through the whole thing on them this week because they get 5 of those for being a national sponsor, but I did want to give them a shout out, as I want to give a shout out to our regional sponsors, all of them, and because without y'all, we were going to have a regional awards program regardless, but thanks to the overwhelming generosity of many of you people and sponsors in the regions, we almost have a full-blown awards program in all regions. We're still missing a couple, and I'll go over those at the end. But I want, even though you've been on the podcast and had your spot, I want to say thank you again. So in Region 1 cattle, Cliff Livestock, sheep, ICSB, NorCal, and Shannon Stone. Pig is Curly Cattle Company. Goat is Red Hill Show Goats. Region 2, the Showman app sponsored cattle, and RS2 Showstock sponsored goats. We still need a sheep and a pig sponsor for the regions in Region 2. And so if you're interested in that, please holler at us. Region 3, some of my favorites, Kiefer Auctions, sponsored cattle. South Texas Show Series, sponsored sheep. The Scott Stedgy family, sponsored pigs. And Roof Depot and the Hill family, sponsored goats for Region 3. Region 4, Maple Show Cattle, is the cattle sponsor, and pigs is the Showman app. Once again, in Region 4, we still need a sheep and a goat sponsor for regions. Region 5, Stock Show Therapies is the cattle sponsor. Sheep is Izzy P at Home. Pigs is Putney Show Pigs. Goats is Homestead Feed and Supply. Region 6, Leonard Truck and Trailer. Sheep, Leonard Truck and Trailer is the cattle. Sheep is Getting It Done Show Stock. Pig is also Leonard Truck and Trailer. And goat is Interstate Showdown Series. And so we appreciate all these region sponsors. Because of y'all, we can give a full awards program in almost every single species in almost every single region. And so we are very, very appreciative of that. That is kind of what I have before the main topic. This week, this is kind of short notice, but I'm just going to talk about some stuff. But mainly, I think that what I want to address and the topic I want to talk about is there are no secrets to success. I think a lot of times people ask me, how does this happen? How do you get this to, how do you do this? How do you accomplish this? And to be honest with you, there's just not any secrets to it. If success was easy, everyone would have it. Everyone would be it. If there was a menu where you could order, I want to be a millionaire this week with the side of a perfect family and, a booming social life, then everybody would do that. But that's not how it works. And I say this a lot, but I mean it sincerely. I think one of the greatest things about the junior livestock show industry and what benefits these kids more than anything else is the fact that they learn that there is no secret to success, but they also learn what they're going to have to do to achieve that success. And there's a lot of things that go into making yourself a success in any area of life, whether it's the junior livestock industry, your chosen careers, athletics, any type of hobby or sport. We all know hard work, persistence, sacrifices, discipline, all of those things are part of it. But when you start raising these show animals, you do it in primarily a family environment. And I've said a lot of times, and I mean this sincerely, family isn't always blood, but you get to pick and choose people to also that become your family. And you'll meet a lot of those in the livestock industry. And it takes a village and it takes a team to be a success in anything. But in the end, the junior exhibitor is the one that kind of is the one that's responsible for it, because when it all comes down to it at the bottom line, it's just that kid and that animal out there. It took a team to get you there, but you have to go out there and be in the spotlight, and you have to secure that success for yourself. And I think that is something that is vitally, vitally important in this world right now, because there are so many different avenues that do not still preach or promote, I guess is a better word, individual success. And we still do, and we still really want that for these kids, and we think that it's important. And so I think that's one of the great things about this program. You all know that have done this, that you're in the barn 6 to 8 hours a day. It takes sacrifice. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. There's a lot of times that kids would much rather go play with their friends, whether the little ones, or go hang out with their buds, whether they're in high school, watch a movie, 1,000 other things that they could do instead of going to the barn and tending to their livestock every single day. That is how you learn dedication. That is how you learn sacrifice. You have to make those choices. And, it's not something that's an option for these kids. It is what it is. It has to be. Those animals depend on you, not only for the basics, but if you want to be at the top of this game, it's going beyond the basics. You live, eat, and breathe it. You have to be in that barn trying to get every single advantage and every single edge that you can. And those sacrifices that you make, sometimes they're tough and sometimes they're hard and you don't like it. But in the end, I think you will see that you're better off from it. And I think another part of this program that is a very big attribute into success later in life is you learn how to set goals. A lot of people don't even know what that is anymore. I don't know how, but they don't. Whether it's a family or you personally, you set a goal and then you set into motion the things that it takes to try to achieve that goal. And I've said this on the podcast before too. I think one of the greatest things about the junior livestock show industry is there are so many different levels of success. And success is defined differently by every single one of us. Some of us, it's to have the grand champion in Kansas City, Louisville, Denver, Cattlemen's Congress, Arizona National, those big, huge national major shows. Maybe it's winning your state fair. Maybe it's winning your county fair. For some people, success is getting a brand and making the sale somewhere. Other people, it's winning showmanship at a certain level. And so there's all these different levels that we can achieve success in multiple ways. And I think that's an important part of it. But the fact that you get in your mind, this is what I want to do, this is what I think it takes, and this is how I'm going to see this happen. I think there's a world of value in that right there. And I think that goes overlooked a lot of times because I promise you, just knowing that you have put this in your mind, you've worked hard, you sacrificed, you dedicated, and then to see it accomplished, once that happens once for you, you're going to want it again and again and again. It's contagious. And I think that's a true beauty of this program that not all programs have. And again, the multiple levels of success that you can achieve, I think that's pretty important. As continue on about this thing, I'm going to be super duper honest with you that a lot of people that you come in contact in your life are going to tell you what you can't do instead of what you can. I don't know why that's the norm, but it's not new. It's been that way a long time. People want to focus on, well, you're not going to be able to do this, and well, you can't accomplish that, and well, that's not a reality, and all these things. Shut that all out of your mind. Don't listen to that. Know that you can do anything that you want to do if you believe in it and you set your mind to it, and you'll do work as hard as you possibly can to achieve it. There are so many people that I could point to in this industry that have proven that point right. In almost every facet, there's politicians, there's lawyers, there's I can sit there and name 1,000 different options in different fields or whatever, that this was their starting point. This was their start off. This is their platform. And they took what they learned here and they applied that to all these different things that they wanted to see succeed. And it happened for them. And they didn't listen to the people that told them what they can't do. And I hate when people do that. And there have been people that I love greatly that have told other people, well, that's not possible. I'm like, anything is possible. Tell the story several times. You're probably tired of listening to it, but when I was 4 years old, I told my mom I wanted to be the grand champion steer at the Houston Livestock Show, and she told me that I could be anything I ever wanted to be if I just wanted it bad enough. And I took her seriously at that time, and I believed her. I believed her then, and I believe her now, but I want you people out there listening to know that that's true, because I honestly believe that, not just because of me, but just so many people that I know that have gone the distance in whatever career opportunities, whatever decisions, whatever goals they sought. And it all started with what they learned in this program right here, and that has paralleled them and shot them to the pinnacle of success in so many different avenues. And it's really, really important that you realize that. Don't ever listen to the people that tell you what you can or cannot do. Just focus on you and what you want out of life, and then you'll find a way to make that happen. If you truly believe in yourself and you truly believe in your goals, you can. At the start of this, I talked about that it kind of takes a village to do anything, and it does. And again, I think just one of the best parts for me of this deal is I don't have a real big family. again, I'm a product of a bitter, messy divorce as it is. So that was hard enough. But I found people in my life that maybe they're not my blood family, but they are now. And those are the people that I choose to share my hopes and dreams with, share my goals with. They support me, they comfort me, they do all the things that are important that you need to be a success, because you do have to have people behind you and you do have to have people rooting for you. You have to have people that can help you get your foot in a door somewhere every once in a while. I am very serious in that the majority of the people that I know that were brought up in this industry, all of those people that do that for them, regardless of what their profession is, regardless of what they do later in life, they met them here, the large majority of them. And yet they're still with that person. They're still cheering them on. They're still giving them a helping hand. They're still the shoulder to cry on. All of those things, they're still there. I think that is one of the very unique parts of this program that is so special and oftentimes overlooked. We talked about the actual family involvement in this. And when I was a kid, I didn't realize everything that went into this. I knew that I loved to show, and magically it happened for me every weekend of every year except for probably Christmas and sometimes in the week. But I didn't understand how much was involved in it. And I was never appreciative enough to my family and everyone that helped me out throughout my junior show career. And again, I was oblivious about the time, the effort, the energy, the money that was involved in doing this, and not just on the level that I did it, but on any level whatsoever at all. And so, you don't realize that a lot of times your parents would much rather put their feet up and watch Netflix and chill instead of go to you with the barn. You don't realize that an ag teacher and a county agent doesn't have to go to the shows on the weekends. They don't have to drive across the country looking for you or helping you out, trying to find projects. You don't realize that those brokers and those breeders, all that time that they spend answering questions, helping you prepare for a show, all of those things, they don't have to do that. They do that because they're invested in the program. They want the best for the people that they help, and they want the best for you kids. And so I think one of the things that I can tell you is thank you is just two little words that don't seem like they mean a lot. But I promise, when you hear them from a child that you have helped in this deal, it goes a very, very long way. And so I hope that all of you kids that are out there listening to this, tell everybody thank you every once in a while. It doesn't have to be every day. It would be nice if it was, but that'd probably be a little overkill and get boring and repetitive. But just every once in a while, make sure that you tell your parents, people that guide you, the people that help you, hey, thanks. I really appreciate what you do for me. It's just two little words that go such a very, very long way. And I know they will appreciate it, and it will renew them to even want to push you harder and faster and even get you more success. And just say thank you every once in a while. I don't like to use myself or my story. I just don't like to use it and talking about it, because I think there are so many other stories that are just as equally as great as mine. But the one thing about it is I know my story better than anybody else. Talking about things about risk and failure and success and what it takes and all these things, people come up to me all the time and they say, what you do is just amazing and we appreciate it so much. And kids all the time, they ask me, how did you get here? How did you do this? And like I said at the start of this, success is not easy. It's not. I don't care who you are. It's something that's hard to achieve and hard to attain and very difficult at times. Some of us, more than others, have had more obstacles and roadblocks, and that's okay. I'm probably one of those people. I'm probably in that category. If any of you had a clue what I went through as a kid growing up showing these things, or what I've gone through as a young adult, now just a regular adult, I guess, trying to be successful in the industry that I am so passionate and love, you would probably either think that I'm lying or want to know how certifiably insane I am to keep trying because it has not been easy. You know, being an obviously gay kid in this industry back then, I was harassed, bullied, talked about. I mean, God knows, you name it. One year at the Junior Nationals, they took black spray paint and wrote obscenities all over my trailer about my sexuality, and they beat my cattle. I can sit here and list 1,000 things that would make anybody want to quit. One of those things would make somebody want to quit. And I just wouldn't give up. After I got done with my junior show career and I was in college, these lovely little things called message boards came out on the internet. And you didn't have to put your name, an email, anything. You could just go on there and type anything you wanted to about anybody. You could call people a serial killer or whatever, and it didn't matter. And I was drugged through the ringer on the message boards to the point that we had to get restraining orders for a couple of them that my name couldn't be used at all, or they were going to be in a slander lawsuit. That's how ugly and that's how bad it got. And yet, I still wouldn't quit. I just didn't do it. And this was all before I actually came out of the closet, all of this stuff, and quit hiding and told the truth about who I really am and the person that I wanted to be and became, and was just true and honest about myself. And so, again, I understand full and well the number of things that can come up that can make anybody want to quit. And it's a personal decision. You have to decide for yourself. Nobody can tell you when to throw in the towel. I'm just not a person that does that. I just can't. It's not in me. And I think the ironic thing about all this is that all of the lessons that I learned through the junior livestock industry and the people that I met and all of the attributes that I gained, I learned those in this deal, and that's what has kept me from quitting. And yet it's a lot of the people in this industry that want me to quit and want to silence me and didn't want me to have any of these opportunities or be successful because I was simply just different than everyone else. So there are going to be times when you think, I just don't think I can go anymore. I just don't think I can do this again. And it doesn't matter if it's, you lost your county fair for the 3rd year in a row, or you came in second in showmanship for the 5th time. Things much more serious than that. There are going to be those times. And all I can tell you in terms of advice on that is look inside yourself. And if you truly are passionate and love what you're doing, even though it seems like it's the end of the world right then, there will be something deep inside you that says, hey, you know what? This wasn't great. And this isn't what I wanted. And this isn't how I planned this to happen. But I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to give them hell all over again. I'm not going to go through and list all of the stuff that's happened to me because it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Because I find a way every single time that one of those things happen. I look inside myself and I say, you know what? This isn't a great day, but tomorrow can be better. And I get up and I go out and I do it all over again. And I am not sorry. And I am not ashamed. And I'll continue to do that because this is where I think I need to be and where I belong. And even at those dark times, just know that if you keep pushing and you keep trying, you will persevere eventually. I can point to hundreds of examples of people in this junior livestock industry that have a story similar, that it wasn't easy, it was hard, and there were lots of obstacles to overcome, and yet they did it, and here we are now. And so know that even at the darkest times, there's light on the horizon, because there truly, truly is. And I want you to know that if you want it and you can accomplish it, you will. I'm not going to get emotional about that, but really, really important to know. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, don't let anybody decide what your definition of success is. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. Again, for me, it was when I gave up on what was, or what was supposed to be, and embraced who I was and who I was meant to be. Even though it took a while, that's when things that everyone thought improbable or impossible magically happened before my eyes. And it continues still to this day. I just want everybody to know that the lessons that you learn in your show barn and the show rings right now, if you will take that, and I said this in that speech that I gave at the Calgary Stampede that so many people have watched, if you'll take those things and you will apply them to what you're passionate about and what sets your heart on fire, then even though you may never have been a grand champion in the show ring or achieved exactly the pinnacle of success that you wanted, you'll know what it's like to be a grand champion in the game of life. And I think that is really, really important. And I think that sums up what is so great about the stock show industry. And that's why there truly is no secret to success per se, but you being involved in the greatest program to raise a kid is a big start. And it's not a secret to us, but it's a secret to a lot of people. But you're off on the right foot. And so there's a poem that I want to share with y'all, and then we'll move on to something else. And again, without Dale here to yell at, I'm not going to be nearly as long-winded, but it says, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost, for out in the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Don't let anybody ever tell you what you can or cannot do, or let them define what your definition of success is. And that's my hope for all of y'all out there listening. Short topic, but one that's meaningful to me, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. As we move on here, again, we've thanked a lot of sponsors up there at the beginning. In terms of the region, I want to thank the BTR JLA sponsors. On the corporate level, Showcoat Solutions, Leonard Truck and Trailer, JH Cattle, Mini Herefords, Mini Mafia, Brock Farms, Angus Cattle. The national sponsor for the all-around is Oldwood Limited. Cattle is Langford, Hereford, and Hybrids. Sheep is Platinum Shelton Livestock. Pig is McGrew Equipment, and goat is S&R Meat Goats. And Top 10 Jacket sponsors, Magnus Family, Ranch House Designs, South Texas Show Series, Bullseye Ranch, Top 10 Awards, Ellis Beefmaster, Crownstone, Leonard Truck and Trailer, Stock Show Auctions, and Rockin' W. Angus. So we thanked our regional sponsors at the beginning. We thank our national sponsors here. Without y'all's love, support, and financial dedication, there's no way that we can make all this work for the BTR JLA. So now we're going to go into question and answer God. See, this is how dedicated I am, people. Even though Dale is not here, I will still go on and do this, even though, I do not like the section at all. But now it's going to be a little bit better, maybe, because I get to pick the questions. I know I got one personally. Someone sent one to me, and their question was, when I judge all these shows or whatever, and do I ever regret my decisions when the show is over? I think there's a funny story that goes with this. And the answer is, now I do not. But it wasn't always that way. And I was at a show very young. I don't even think I was off the judging team yet. And there was a kid there at the show that he was going to win the steer show, had a great set of steers, probably could have been grand and reserve steer. And again, I was young, and he wins champion steer, and I'm out there looking for reserve, and it's between this other one and another one. And I was like, you know what? I should probably just use this other kid, and that'll make more people happy. And if I use that same kid, grand and reserve, then everybody's going to say, talks this stuff, yada, 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 da, da, da. So I went out and I used another kid reserve, and that girl could have been reserve champion steer. It was justifiable without a doubt. And we took pictures, and I got in the car, and I wasn't even out of the parking lot. I was like, I screwed up. That boy should have had grand and reserve. And it ate at me for a long time. And from that moment on, I just decided that I didn't want to have those regrets anymore. And so from there on out, I've done exactly what I wanted to, whether it ruffled anybody's feathers, made anybody mad, etc. And so because I've never wanted to live with that feeling again where I didn't like exactly what happened out there. Yeah, to answer that question, doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, one time it did. And I think that's kind of shaped me as a judge all the way through. Again, that was a question that was sent to me. This is why I don't like question and answer, and I don't ever know anything about question and answer, because I can't tell the ones that Dale have asked, have not asked. I have no idea. And I should have looked into that earlier. So I will go with another question that I get asked a lot. I just got asked this today at the county fair that I was judging after the show. This lady walks up, and she was there judging something. I can't remember what she said. She said that she was on the fair board of a neighboring county and wanted to know who they needed to contact about me judging. I was like, that would be me. People think that evidently I have people. I have no people. I am my people. I am it. It is me. I book all the planes, trains, automobiles, the hotels, all the nonsense, all myself. I don't have anybody that does that for me. I don't have a social media person. I am my own social media person. This is a one-man band right here. It's all me. I probably need help, but I'm probably a little too controlling to let anybody else do that. But if you are interested in me judging or any of those things, please, by all means, contact me. But it is me that you contact. And on the same token, I get this asked a lot, and this won't serve as the third question, even though it should. I get asked about clinics and speaking and all these things. I have a very strict policy, and it's the only way I can live with myself. And it is that if I'm going to say yes to anything, then I'm going to have to be able to say yes to them all. And so I have done that in terms of judging stock shows. If I'm available and they can pay my expenses, then I go. I can't do that and have clinics and talk to FFA chapters or 4-H clubs, and I can't do all of it. And I've committed to the judging part of it, but I just don't have time for clinics. I don't have time for all that other stuff. Not that I wouldn't like doing it, but again, I can't wrap it in my mind saying yes to this 4-H group, no to this FFA group. I can't say yes to putting on a clinic for these kids in Virginia, but no, I can't do it for the kids in New Mexico. It doesn't work in my mind that way. And so there's not enough days and enough hours for me to be able to do all that. So at this time, no, I don't do clinics. I don't do speaking engagements and stuff like that. Maybe sometime in the future, but right now, not so much. And then I'm trying to think. That's 2 questions. I'm struggling here. This is what Dale contributes so well, is to the question and answer of it all. The only time I miss him on the podcast, even though I do like yelling at him, and I have missed that a little bit this week. But if he comes back next week, I'll get to yell at him twice as much. So it'll be better. Oh, and there's another question. I got asked, says you've been in 43 states. Which ones have you not been to? I have not been to Georgia yet, but hopefully, God willing, next weekend, that will be number 44. Alaska, Hawaii, Vermont, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Maine. I can't remember. I think that's it. I'm not sure. But anyway, that question. But that I forgot. That was a good question that got asked me. But those are the ones that I know that I haven't been to. I get asked, what is my favorite species to judge? And everybody's going to, all the cattle people are going to get mad. And it's fine. I don't care. My favorite species to judge is hogs. And it's not close. That's what my favorite species judge. And the reason is it's very logical and very rational. I love judging all the species because kids are involved. And I love working with kids and joking with them and having a good time with them. So I'm not saying I don't like judging any of the species. I love judging them all as long as the kids are involved. But my favorite one to judge is hogs. And it is a very logical reason why. Because there are so many structural differences in hogs. And that is what I love to sort out and describe the most, is just the vast structural differences in all species. But there are more of those in hogs than anything else. So that is why I really like sorting hogs the very best of all the species. And then the other question that went with that I got asked at a deal the other day, what is the show that I haven't got to judge that I want to the most? And I think everybody knows this, but the answer is the North American in Louisville. Simple. That's the ultimate goal. So, again, this was short and sweet and to the point. I hope you enjoyed it. We're hoping that Dale Hummel will come back and make an appearance next week. If not, and he's still, detained in some immigration camp or in another foreign country looking to buy, a large fallout war nuclear bunker or whatever, then maybe I will wrangle a guest in. But I think he's going to be back. But, you never know with him. But until next week, I think Dale always tells you to stay safe. Hope you have a great weekend. Go to a BTRJLA show, and y'all come back now. You hear?